Link building on Automatic will allow you to create net linking campaigns directly from your sites using your own sites. So quite simply, in this section here. So first of all, you obviously need the WordPress plugin, which is required since we operate on WordPress for content generation, which will then be automated for link building. So on this page, you'll be able to see an overview of the campaigns you've launched, with the number of campaigns, the number of domains you've used, the number of sites, the statuses, so how many campaigns are ongoing and how many are completed, as well as the scheduling of your articles and the links you've created. And of course, here you can see each link for every site that will be posted on each site, as we'll see in just a moment, along with the remaining duration of your campaign, the number of links that have been scheduled, the number of links that have already been created, as well as the overall progress. Obviously, this refers to your netlinking campaign. To create a netlinking campaign, you simply need to click on New Campaign here. So here we're simply going to set up a campaign. It's very straightforward. We'll name this campaign so that we can easily find it later. Next, we'll select the language in which we want to create the posts. In this case, we'll stick with French. The target URL, so here, the target URL will be the target link to which you want to send links. This means that each article generated will contain the link to the URL you provided here. Next, you'll check here, generic anchor, semi-optimized anchor, and optimized anchor. So, quite simply here, we have three types of anchors that will differ depending on the URL you've entered. So it can be a short phrase directly, or it can be an anchor, I clicked here. For example, for an optimized anchor directly with the keyword. So you want to, I don't know, for example, wooden house, house construction, wood, etc., etc. Personally, I recommend leaving all three boxes checked. That way you can mix things up a bit to avoid issues. You never know, just in case Google gets a little upset about it. Obviously, you'll have control over each site. If you have sites, a preference for each site to say, okay, on this site, I want an optimized anchor. Of course, you'll have control over it. Next here, scheduling. Quite simply, the publication frequency you want to have for your campaign. So here, for example, one publication per day, it could be per week, per month, or per year, starting from. So here you select the start date directly from the calendar provided to you. You can avoid weekends. That's a request we've received. And as a result, we've set up the bulk of the campaign. Next, you'll need to select your sites. So you click here on Site Selection. Here, you'll find all of your sites. As seen in the monitoring section, you can organize your sites here using a tagging system by checking certain sites and adding them to tags you've created beforehand. Here we will assume that you currently have dedicated sites specifically for comprehensive link building, or perhaps those meticulously organized by a particular category or a specific topic, of course. You'll simply need to check the specific sites where you genuinely want to send your valuable content, which will comprehensively include an article or a particular page containing the precise link you previously specified. Here, for example, I've carefully checked 3 distinct sites. For this example, then we'll go ahead and continue here. Once we've checked all our sites, we'll move on to the next step. Here, you still have control over the anchors if you want to modify them directly and regenerate the anchors. So if you see that you've checked a lot of sites, but the anchors don't match because you didn't want optimized anchors, etc., you uncheck Optimize Anchor and click on Regenerate Anchors. And so we'll give you another suggestion. You can also regenerate the titles here. Thank you. So for each publication, you'll be able to see one publication per site you've selected here with the title of the publication. The content will then be generated automatically based on the publication title, which can match the URL that you provided since we retrieved the data from your URL to know what it's about. Here, the anchor text of the link is not optimized. Click here to access the site, learn more about this page. So here, I'm only displaying 3, but I could have had the actual name directly. For example, I wanted to create a link to Google. So obviously I can have here Go to Google or simply Google. Here, the publication date. So a suggestion was made based on the scheduling you requested earlier. You can, of course, modify it by site. Here as well, directly if you prefer this site to post before the other site, well, you just need to change the date. You can also select the category according to the website. Since you are on WordPress, in this case you have several categories. You can come here, select the category, as well as the author profile that you may have created directly with Automatic so that it matches your profiles. WordPress. Once that's done, you've selected your sites, you've set up the anchors, and everything related to the links that will be integrated into the content. So now we'll move on to content settings by clicking on Setup Content. To set up the content here, this will correspond to the generation of your articles. So you will find basically the content generation that you will find in Autopilot. Obviously, since we're dealing with more or less the same options. So here, of course, you'll find the text models on which you want to generate. So you have the choice, obviously, between all the formats and all the models. From OpenAI, ranging from GPT-5 to GPT-4 and GPT-3. Mini Mistral, Claude, Gemini, DeepSeek, Grok, and soon Ollama for those who want to generate locally. So obviously here we're dealing with net linking, so Ollama probably won't work. The content length here, so if you want short, medium, or long content in terms of content length. The writing style, there you go. You have a whole list like this of writing styles. If you want to automatically generate related keywords based on the scraping that we'll do directly in the SERPs, depending on the article request you've made, we'll try to match it, scrape the SERPs, retrieve the content, basically to feed data into it, just like the Autopilot and the Assistant. The right data to generate really, really good content, depending on what you want to do with images. Here too, you have a whole range of AI models to choose from. So you have Ideogram, Flux, Grok, image banks like Unsplash, Gemini 2.5. And you also have Google Images and Bing for scraping, which allow you to directly retrieve images related to the requested content. When it comes to media integration, you can have a featured image, images within the content, YouTube videos, and social media embeds. Next, the maximum number of images in the content. So there you go. By default, we've set it to 3. After that, you can do whatever you want, of course. Custom instructions for images. So, I don't know, maybe you want black and white images. All your images in black and white, you can simply specify it here. So, as you can see, configuring net linking content is pretty straightforward. Here, you can then choose the type you want, of course, for the post. So, if you want articles or pages, generally, it's often articles. If you want to associate them directly, so you've already entered your categories beforehand, but if you want to link them automatically, you can automatically assign your articles based on the categories on your WordPress sites. So it's pretty convenient. You can generate automatic tags with AI, rewrite the permalink. If you have titles that are a bit long, this lets you shorten the URLs a little and generate the tags. SEO title, allow emojis in title tags, and generate a meta description with AI directly from the model you select here. Then, once that's done, quite simply, you'll be able to, in the final step, click on Launch the campaign, and so you'll simply end up with a campaign. Thank you. A net linking campaign like this, which will be scheduled on your sites with, for example, 1 article per day being posted to create links to the URL you provided.